Hi, I'm Seb, and I'm addicted to Elden Ring. I make stuff. Like many of you out there, I have sunk many hours over the last week or so into this game, and it's many deaths. But those little shiny rewards and those rune counts really keep you coming back. Somehow so frustrating, yet so satisfying. But one of my favorite parts of the game is when you hear that little tingle and those treasure-carrying dung beetles show up. I was instantly inspired and thought, I need this in my D&D game. So I got to making them. First part of any plan is looking at the reference material. So that gave me an excuse to play some more. So in the game, they seem to be pulling around a ball of roots that is emitting this glow. But I want to mix it up. So I'm going to cover this dung ball in treasure and turn this guy into a bit more of a treasure goblin. So to start, I jumped onto Thingiverse to find my beetle model. Alternatively, you could use Halloween decorations. Once we have our beetles printed out, we'll give them a little bit of time to drip off from the resin, before very carefully removing the supports, trying not to break off the tiny little legs. And then giving them the classic coat in Fiddly Bits Grey Primer, and a quick coat of Wraithbone White. Now for the dung piles. For this, I'm going to use cotton balls drenched in glue or Mod Podge. Once they've got a good amount soaked in there, you can really just play around with them and get them into the shape you want. As this slowly dries, you can use some more Mod Podge and kind of coat the outer layer, helping everything to hold in place nicely. And here's some that I prepared earlier. And now it's time to go on a treasure hunt and see what I can find to attach to these dung balls. Searching through my bits box to pull out anything shiny. Now we've got our bits and pieces together, it's time to do a bit of a dry fit and make sure it's going to sit how I want it. So I grab a base and start playing around with the cotton balls and bugs. First things first, we're going to paint the dung balls. So I'm going to grab a few different contrast browns and splotch these all over the cotton balls. These end up blending in nicely and will cross blend together to give us some nice dungy combinations. And now we've got that nice natural poop undercoat. We're going to coat the whole thing in glue and dunk it into a bag of tiny little glitter. This stuff is about the perfect size of scale to represent gold coins in my game. Make sure to use a plastic container like this, because once glitter is out in your craft area, you are never getting rid of it. Now that we have our golden dung piles, it's time to paint up the beetles. I decided to come in with a few different contrast colours over the different beetles to give me some variation, and quickly prepared a couple of bases. Once this was all done, I got to placement and gluing down the bugs to the treasure piles. And while I liked the first three with their dung piles full of gold coins, I decided that I needed one to be a little bit extra. So I pulled out some of my extra bits and pieces and got started. First off, I hit it with the contrast browns to start the base of the dung pile like with the other two. And then I started adding in the bling. Little bits of rhinestones and costume jewelry were the first element that I started adding in all over the ball, trying to place them a bit randomly and mixing up the sizes and colours based on what I had available in my bits box. Once I was happy with the amount of crystals and gems in the pile, I brought in some gold and silver leaf It's my first time working with this, and it was fairly simple and fun. I'm going to try and find some more ways to use it in some other builds. I feel like I'm going to have to build some treasure piles to go with these guys in the future. And now for the main coverage. I'm going to mix up some different colours of this tiny grain glitter to have some golds, bronzes and silvers in there to make it look like we've got a variation of different coins with this one. And then covering all of the exposed brown dung areas on the ball with Mod Podge before dropping it into the glitter pile and giving it a good shake. Once you're happy with the coverage, it's time to get rid of all of the excess glitter. So I throw it into a tissue and give it a good shake around. I'd recommend repeating this process a couple of times because once you get glitter out there, you aren't getting rid of it. With a quick dry brush and edging on the bases, it's time to stick these models together. And here we have a couple of variations of our treasure dung beetles. So in my Dungeons & Dragons world from now on, it won't only be dragons that have a treasure hoard. These guys will be going around and stealing whatever treasure they can find and taking it back to their little bug holes. I can't wait to see how my players react to this little bit of fun that I've taken from inspiration from the world of Dark Souls. Comment below what you'd like to see me make next.